Hello and welcome. My name's Howard Benson. I am along with Trevor, one of the admins on the Seahog Boats Facebook page, and I thought I'd put a selection of videos together because I get asked all sorts of questions regarding Seahog boats, the models, the sizes, how old my boat is, where can I get this, where can I get that, what my transom's rated to, what year is my boat, various things. So I'm going to do a series of videos, starting with like the history of Seahog, from the start to the end, all the different models. I'm trying to get out in each and every model so I can do a full review on the water. Already had a few generous offers of people letting me go out in their boat. I currently have a Seahog Samurai, which I bought a couple of months ago. It was stud for some while, so there's various things need doing on that. It's a pretty good boat, to be fair. It's only bits of cosmetic. The engine's been stud for at least 12 months. It was winterized before it was stud, and it's only done 245 hours since new. So even though it's an old two-stroke, it's a good one. With regards to the engine, it is a Evinrude 60 horsepower 1998. It's a VRO. Now I will be deleting the VRO, putting it to premix, and also I've done some research, and the only difference between the Evinrude 60 and the Evinrude 70, or so I'm led to believe, is the carburetors. So I've managed to get hold of some ex-RNLI 70 horsepower carburetors with the uprated air intake. I'll be getting those fitted. The carburetors and the service pack came from SSI Marine in Wigan, or near Wigan. A gentleman called Julian, great helpful guy. So I got all the parts from there, and I'll be doing a video on how that goes. The boat currently does 26 miles an hour with the 60, or that's what I was led to leave by the previous owners. So let's see what the uprated carburetors do to that. Now, if you need any information on Seahogs, or you want a review or videos about any model, drop a comment into the comment section, and I'll endeavour to do a video on that. But I'm going to start with a brief history of the Seahog boats, and to cover a little bit about each model, and see where we go from there. So I'm going to try and cover as much as I can regarding Seahog boats, but let me know if I miss anything. The boat I'm currently sat on is going to be the HogFather 2, because my last boat was the HogFather 1, which is a brand new Seahog SE Trooper. I got rid of it for some reason. I wasn't overly impressed with the new Tohatsu 4-stroke. It was a little bit gutless for the boat, and I wasn't using it. My mother wasn't very well, so I didn't get to use it, and I got rid of it. I've always wanted a Samurai, so one came along, so I bought it. Haven't done anything with it for a couple of months, so I'll be going through video by video of getting that to the condition I want it to be. I am an electrician by trade, so I will be doing a full rewire on the boat. It has been rewired, but as you'll know, if you're a tradesman, you like to do things your way. So I'll be doing it from scratch, putting a split battery system in, putting a solar charging system in, various things. So again, if you have any questions about electrics or electronics, drop them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Like I say, meanwhile, I've got a little bit of a footage after this, which will cover the history of Seahog and also the models. I've taken snapshots of the original web page, which I've managed to get from the archives. It's circa 2002, so it's even got the prices on, which you'll be astonished about. So have a little look at the original webpage, look at the models, and more videos will come. Thank you very much. Well, here we are at the computer, and as promised, here is the original Seahog webpage direct from the archive. This is circa 2002, and it was Arnie Holt's original webpage. So let's have a little look around it. This is the Abouts page, giving a slight overview direct from the big man himself. If any of you had the pleasure to meet him, what a character. I think we'll just leave it at that. You either loved him or hate him. I personally thought he was a fantastic guy, depending on which day you caught him. Right, so enough said about us. Let's move on to the boats. The Seahog Hunter. What a fantastic small boat, and certainly the boat that launched Seahog onto the small boats market. A 15-foot boat with just over a 6-foot beam. This boat was the start of Seahog properly. The same hull was used on the Shorty and later on the Sea Jeep. Fantastically stable, very light. Arnie states on his website that the boat weighs approximately 400 kilos. That's quite heavy. The hull alone on this boat, I personally weighed, and they're around 340 kilos at the most, and that's with a hefty floor. He also notes that the recommended horsepower is 5 horsepower to 50 horsepower, but I've personally seen these boats rated up to 70 horsepower on the earlier models when there was really only 2-stroke engines around. But we'll talk more about transoms and the ratings on a later video, because it really does depend on how much marine ply you have in your transom as to what you're actually rated for. What's written on your boat plate is what the insurance will go off, but it really did depend on what Arnie felt like on the day as to what was put on that plate. But we'll talk about that in other videos. So that's the Seahog Hunter. Great boat. Next up we have the Seahog Trio. This has been named a few different names over its time. It's been a CJR, it's also been a Virgo, Capri I believe, and it's also been called various things. The moulds for this were actually down in Southport for quite a long time at a fiberglass place, which I believe was called Cellplast. So if you bought the fiberglass off them, you could basically make your own boat. So there is a lot of these about. Good boat, full cathedral hull. They came in a 14 for the Seahog, but CGR also did the same boat in a 16. And later on, which is not on this website, but Arnie shortened it by 2 foot, and the Seahog TARDIS was made, and that is just literally a 12-foot trio with either open boat or you could have a detachable cuddy. Next in line is the Seahog Shorty. What can I say about this again? It's the same hull as the Hunter, just with a Shorty cuddy on it. It has huge deck space for a small boat. It's not the prettiest boat. The cuddy was never that pretty, but wow, you could get some serious fishing done. You could fish 3 people on a 15-foot boat. It's a big space, great boat. As with the Hunter, there were different models of this. Arnie later heightened the gunnels, so there are a Mark 1 and a Mark 2 and a Mark 3, I believe, in both the Seahog Shorty and the Seahog Hunter, and they just changed about the windows, the gunnels, mainly just the top of the boat. The hull stayed the same for all 3 boats because it was a tried and tested platform, very light, cuts through the water well, just a great boat all round. The Seahog Sea Lord.
Now this is a great boat, 17'6". The hull is originates in a Pilot 520. Many manufacturers have used this hull as well, including Wilson Flyer. They added an extra chine higher up the side of the gunnels, but it is originally a Pilot 520 hull. Tried, tested, great hull. Arnie messed about with the top a few times, and this hull became the Commodore. But a Sea Lord, still a great boat. I believe he did try and extend the Hunter to a 17 foot, so there is one or two of those about, but he opted for the hull of the Pilot 520 in the end, and like I say, it's a great boat. I don't know which I actually prefer between this and the Commodore. Commodore is better at seating and driving, but I just love, it's one of my favourite boats to see, Hog Sea Lord. Not many of them about. If you've got a good one, keep hold of it. The Seahog Sea Jeep. Fantastic boat. Again, the hull from the Hunter and the Shorty, but with that extra front raised cuddy. This boat was made in a Mark 1, which is pictured in this website shot, and they later made it into a Mark 2, which in my opinion isn't as good as the Mark 1. It's a bit bulkier, it's a bit heavier, and I just think the Mark 1 was a better boat. It's a one-man launch. You can steer seated through the cuddy. It's cracking boat. Arnie sold this bolt and mould to Endeavour, so this boat is currently still being made by Endeavour in its Mark II format. Arnie had it as a beam of 6'6". I don't know why the beam is different to that of a Hunter when it's the same hull, but no, great boat. He's had the rating up to 50 horsepower for the Seahog model of this, but Endeavour decided to change it to a 40 horsepower for some reason. Still, great boat, fantastic, probably one of the best in the range in my opinion. The Seahog Sea Prince. Well, this boat came to Seahog via Sugden Boats. This boat was originally a Sugden 456, I believe, but Arnie slightly changed the back, flattening off the transom, and called it the Seahog Sea Prince. Great boat, fantastic boat, and this boat later became the Seahog Sea Trooper just by changing the top. There's not many of these Sea Princes about, so again, if you've got one, keep hold of it. We've had a couple in our club, and I've had a kind offer to go out on a fantastic example to do a review on one, so that will be on another video. I do like these boats, probably one of the most stable boats at anchor, this along with the Trooper. Obviously it's the same hull. Great boat. People do say they slam. Yeah, a cathedral hull will slam. I've got a V hull in my Samurai, and yes, the Samurai will cut through the water much better, but at anchor I'd definitely prefer to be on a Commodore or a Sea Trooper, or in fact the Sea Prince. The Seahog Sea Trooper. Pretty much you can't say much more about this after the Sea Prince. A great boat. Arnie's advert was the biggest small boat you will ever see. For a boat that's only 15 feet, it commands so much space on the water. You've got so much deck space. You've got such a stable platform. They are a great boat. One of the best and most comfortable boats at anchor you will see. Very popular. I always wanted one, so when Seahog reopened, it was the boat for me. I was always going to put a 90 horsepower Tohatsu on it, and have the transom built to take it, but I couldn't get hold of one, and due to circumstances I ended up with a 60 horsepower 4-stroke Tohatsu. It spoiled the package in my opinion. I love the grunt of a 2-stroke. I had a heavy duty floor put in mine. It was fully foamed. It was a little bit heavier than it should have been, so the 4-stroke really did struggle. But Seahog Sea Trooper, probably one of the most popular to this day, and very well sought after. the Seahog Commodore. Again, this came about from the Sea Lord and originally from the Pilot 520. Great boat. I've been on one of these myself recently. I've been on the famous Happy Hooker along with his famous captain, and it is a great platform. We went out scoping, all three big lads, and we had plenty of space. The platform on these boats are huge. You will not get a 17.5-foot boat with as much deck space anywhere with any manufacturer. That it's just huge. It can be commercial. There's several commercial of these boats about, and having spoken to the late Arnie's wife, she informed me a lot of these ended up in Ireland, so very, very popular over the water. Fantastic boat, fantastic platform, just a great all-round boat. The Seahog Samurai. Well, there's plenty of stories about this boat. This boat, I believe, originated as a TL16. It was developed, I believe, again, this is a story, between Arnie and one of a rival boat manufacturer. They made a mould from a teal, and then there was a falling out, as far as I know. It may be true, may not be true, but this is the story. And one mould went one way and one mould went another. So we ended up with the Warrior 165 and the Seahog Samurai. Warrior, Samurai, you can obviously see the link. Fantastic boats, fantastic hull. I don't know why Warrior it's a 165 as in 16.5 foot, and Arnie had it only as a 16 foot. The teal boat itself was a 16 foot, so I don't know if Warrior have given it a little bit of extra, but I've stood mine next to a Mark 1 Warrior 165 and I can't see any difference, to be honest. They're a V hull, cut through the water beautifully. Obviously Warrior have got the manufacturing completely perfect. Seahogs were always a little bit rougher around the edges, but I actually prefer the top half of the Samurai to the Mark 1 Warrior. Yeah, great boats, both of them. You got to say the Warrior is a better made boat, but the Seahog Samurai was and still is fantastic. Hence why there's one in my garden. The Seahog Alaska 500, a very, very popular boat. Obviously, everyone knows the Alaska 500. It came from Shetland, and Arnie purchased this and two other boats from whoever. Don't know where they came from, but when Shetland went, Arnie got the moulds, and the 500 proved very, very popular. Arnie put an internal on it. Fantastic piece of work. It was it made the boat absolutely tremendous. He also changed the slightly ugly Shetland cuddy to a sloped back. Yeah, he did a great job of making it the 500 LE. A fantastic boat and a well-known boat, tried, tested. This mould is still around, and I believe it's currently sat at SBS Trailers. But again, that's a rumour. Don't know how true it is. I'd like to see it back in production, to be honest. Next up, we have the Seahog Alaska 600, again from Shetland. Not many of these about, and not likely to be any more in the future, because as they were in storage, some horrible little vandal actually torched a caravan, and this particular mould with a boat in it actually got destroyed. So sadly to say, this mould has gone. A lot of commercial boats, certainly on the Shetland side, about. I did hear rumours of a bit of an issue with stability, and that Arnie used to recommend having ballast put in the hull. But I've never been in one. I'd love the chance to go in one. They are huge. and I'd really like to see how they handle. So if anyone's out there who's got one and they fancies a day's fishing and getting themselves a review on YouTube, then give us a shout. Well, the Seahog Predator. Until I actually found this archive webpage, I didn't even know this boat existed. I knew the Predator. I never ever knew it had a Seahog badge on it before it was a Predator. Who knows? I wonder if anyone's actually got one. I'd love to hear from someone who has. I don't know anything about this boat as a Seahog, so I'm really itching to get on one of these. And so if you've got one, drop me a message, and let's get a review done. Right, next in line we have the Seahog Sea Star, a little lake rowing boat, available in 10 and 12 foot versions. Still quite a few of these around in the Lake District, and to be honest, they fetch good money when they appear on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. So again, not been on one. I've seen the moulds. Don't actually know where they are these days, but yeah, cracking little boat. Well, here's a funny little thing. It's the Seahog Floodmaster. Again, until I helped clear out the yard down at Seahog, I'd not even heard of these. But there was plenty of them down there. The mould was still there. It's almost as wide as it is long. And I believe he sold quite a few to abroad. Yeah, it was just a little rescue boat. Is what it is. Right, let's have a look at the Seahog price list on the website back in 2002. Wow, if only boats were this price these days. Unbelievable. You're looking at £4 for a Sea Trooper, £4 for a Sea Prince. Crazy. Get yourself a Commodore, 4,600. Or what about a Samurai for 4,000? If only. Right, the last page I'm going to look at is a key contact page, and there's the big man himself, Arnie Holt, on a some sort of boat, Boss Hog. Like I said before, a genius man. What this man couldn't do with fiberglass wasn't worth doing. I believe all the fiberglass wholesalers used to come to Arnie if they had a problem with any resin or any out-of-date resin. Arnie could get it working, get it curing. Absolute genius. And what a business! What a legacy is left us all. Thousands of boats made over the years, and a great business that sadly seems to have gone. I'll go more into that on another video. Obviously there was a new Seahog, but we won't talk about that today. There's one noticeable boat missing from this list, and that was the Hog Shorty. That was purchased as well from Shetland, and Arnie sold it on quickly. It became the Super Sheltie and went over somewhere near Halifax, as I believe. I've tried to get hold of the two gentlemen who took it. No success. I believe they fell out and stopped making it. But I believe there's a couple still in the Blackpool area. And again, I'd like the opportunity to get on one of those. So if you're listening, drop us a message.
Well, that's it for my first video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've got lots more ideas to do, and a lot more content. I want to get out in the water. I want to also get that boat behind me, get that up and running. Also do that 70 horse conversion on that 60. So usual thing, sorry to say it, but if you wouldn't mind subscribing and pressing like, if you like what you've watched, any comments would be welcome, and please share it with anyone you can. And also there's a little bell there, so if I make another video, just just press that and you'll hear when it comes on. Let's get more into depth with what's going on in the Seahog world. Bye for now.